Merry Christmas, everyone. We are like a week away from Christmas, and I did some of my own Christmas shopping because, honestly, who else is going to buy you race car parts? So I got my Christmas shopping done. Got it in from Summit, got a couple things in with my Christmas bonus from work. So show you what I got. I picked up some more Vibrant vacuum fittings. Vibrant -4 hose, because I got to redo my turbo feed since I moved the turbo. I got a Vibrant collector in for my throttle body, and I also got my ATI dampener. I tried to find a dealer to buy one of these from. I tried to find a used one. It was, you can't find it. I tried for like 2 weeks to find one. I ended up buying it new from Summit. I had 2 different dealers actually tell me they couldn't even buy it for what Summit sells it for. So this is part number 918644. This is for Gen 3 Vortec truck engines, LS3 Camaro, Trailblazer, SSR, part number 918644. It was expensive. It was $375 for this thing, but this could save your motor. You know, I've seen stock pulleys break. It's not a freak of nature. No, stock pulleys do break. They fatigue and they break. So this is a must-have in my opinion. And in my opinion, listen, in my opinion, ATI is the best one out. Fluid dampener, Summit, you can do whatever you want, but I nutted up and spent $375 on a pulley. It's a lot of money, but so is your motor. So unless you buy a $200 junkyard motor, then you really don't give a fuck. You wouldn't be buying this anyway. So I gave you the part number. That is for a alternator only pulley. There's no AC provision. So I got no underdrive, no AC, so it'll run my AC, it might run my alternator and water pump. I just assembled it. This hub was a prick to put in here. It was tight. It was really tight. I had to tap it in a couple of times just to get it going. They make this a really, really snug fit. And make sure you read the directions. Past the line that says, go to page 3. So, you go to the directions. For Chevy LS dampeners, see page 3. That's where I stopped reading. I stopped reading there and went right to page 3. So, when I was trying to put this together, if I read down to right here is an extremely close tolerance and a blah blah blah. It tells you how tight of a tolerance it is and how to kind of get it together. Listen, I didn't want to just beat on it with a hammer and thinking it was wrong. And it's a good thing I did, because there's actually an offset hole mark. Offset hole, a little dimple, and on the hub there's a little dimple that you line that up to and put this in. The ATI pulley's nice. This is heavy. The ATI pulley's nice because it's got timing all the way around. It's got all the marks all around. A lot of pulleys don't have that. They only have one spot. This is nice. And it's cool about this is rebuildable. And it's SFI certified. So, like, they have a power rating. And it's like street and drag use up to 800 horsepower every 10 years. Your recommended maintenance. Above 800 horsepower blown or nitrous annually. Circle track endurance, each engine rebuild. For 5.5-inch dampeners, rebuild depends on horsepower. I don't have a 5-inch dampener, so that's actually a really fucking small dampener, because I think that's almost 8 inches. But yeah, that's that. I gotta get LS pulleys are press fit. The problem with that is there's no keyway. They were noticing under supercharging applications the pulley was spinning on the crank, and when you do that, you trash your crank, you trash your pulley. $375 for that thing, you know, plus whatever your crank and whatever else goes fucking haywire. So it was only really a problem on superchargers, but now they're seeing if you're sitting on the anti-lag, that'll actually start to spin. ATI sells a pin kit. It's this fixture that goes over the nose of your crank, It comes with a drill bit. You drill into the crank and you literally stick this steel pin in there, and because the I don't know if you can see right there, the pulley's actually keyed, so you can line it up and you don't have to worry about it. But ATI's kit is like $130 or some shit, $140, and I'm like, it's gonna be very rare that I'm gonna be using this thing. So I talked to a couple people. Innovatives West sells one on Summit for like $68. There's one on eBay for $75. So I'm probably gonna go that route. I can't put that on until I buy that, which I'm probably gonna buy that this week, but money's tight. It's hard because of Christmas now. I gotta finish my Christmas shopping. What else? Yeah, I'm gonna do the oil feed line. I've been knocking stuff off on my list over there. You could see the whole middle's gone, part of the top's gone. Yeah, it's all dumb stuff. Like, I gotta finish the coil harness and the fender well. I gotta finish the radio wire. And I'm having a really weird problem tonight, actually. Oh, I don't see my hood. I got a 2-inch cowl. It's a hardwood. I got fucked by a guy over in New York. $150 for this hood. Yeah, it looks great. It looks fucking awesome, right? I noticed the backside's been cut out for like a supercharger or some shit. So I drill a hole. I find the center so I could cut it for the high ram. I drill a hole and I see this. Almost a half an inch of body filler. You can see where they cut it and glued it back together. Now, do you think he said on the backside he saw this? Let me tell you, I've been fucked a couple of times from guys from New York. New York and New Jersey, there's a lot of scumbag fucking sellers there. It's a good thing I only spent $150 on this hood, because shit probably weighs as much as a stock one. But you can see, actually you can't. It's like a half-inch thick, and it gets down here. But I cut that out. I mean, it's not perfect. A little more here, because honestly I didn't even care about it. But yeah, I got a small cowl hood. It looks better. I like it with the cowl. But, you can see I got I started the intercooler pipe. Got the vibrant coupler here, 4 to 3. You don't need much more. So the problem I'm running into is I decided, I think I've said this a couple of times, that I wanted to get this car on the road sooner than later. So I've opted to forego some things now and do it as a winter upgrade later. And one of those things was boost control. I really wanted to run an AMS system in the car, but a used one, you're looking for an AMS 1000, you're like $700, $600. For a 2000, you're looking at $1,300. So I was like, screw it, I will use one solenoid for now. I'll run it off manifold pressure, and I'll let the Mega Squirt control it. So, like I've always done, I've hooked up 12 volt switched, and the ECU's a ground trigger. So I hooked that up, and my computer, my laptop in Tuner Studio went all fucking haywire on me, and the fuel pump started turning on and sending system errors and this, that, and the other thing. And like, you literally take the ground trigger wire out of the ECU and hook it to the ground to the solenoid, and the fuel pump will turn on. I have no fucking idea why. Me and my buddy were up here playing with it for like an hour and a half, and you know, we're very green when it comes to that stuff. So my wiring is correct, because on MS3 has a test mode you can enable, and you can test each function. And when they're hooked up, I can, you know, pulse this solenoid, or I can turn it on and off the fuel pump, and they work. So I have to call EFI on Monday. I'm sure it's something stupid. I'm sure I'm going to call up and he's going to be like, yeah, dummy, you have this setting turned on somewhere. So I'll be worrying about that come Monday. I don't know what I'm doing with that. So I got to rip this fender off. I got to rerun the coil harness. I just remounted the horn. I made a bracket, remounted the horn here. I got to mount the coil harness in there, and I got to run the finish neatening up the boost solenoid wires. So let's do that. What else? I don't know. I'm pretty annoyed with the whole boost controller thing tonight. I don't know. So let's tear that fender off and do that. We finished that up, wiring in there, and now I'm going to end up moving my coils. These goddamn coils are pissing me off so freaking bad. I'm really tempted to buy the Holley valve covers with LS3 coils so I can put the coils on the valve covers. I never liked that in stock form because of all the ugly factory bracketry. It's ugly. I don't want it. I want nothing to do with it. But I might go with the Holley covers because you individually bolt the coils onto it. We did that. I got the other side torn off because where the coils were, which I never liked to begin with, the downpipe would interfere with them, and I wouldn't be able to use my downpipe where the coils were. So those are all torn apart now. And you can see I got the coils off because the way the downpipe would go, it'd interfere with it. I'm actually going to I made a bracket to mount them under the frame rail. We're going to play that by ear. So, put the crank pulley on. You can see it down there. Like everybody's sick moving this camera. So I put that on yesterday or the day before because oh yeah, I'm exhausted. I got a different pin kit. So I didn't really know too much about these pin kits because honestly I never researched them before, never looked into it. So there's two different types of pin kits. There's the ATI, which would, so if this is your crank, an ATI one goes into like the side of it and your pulley slips over like a keyway. I wasn't too fond of that kit because it was $125. So the kit I got it off eBay, comes with this and a bolt which is fits your crank. So you bolt this on and you can see you drill it from the front. Got two holes. So you drill the front of the crank and it's half the crank and half the crank pulley. And then you slide two pins in. This was a kind of a cheesy kit. I spent $70. I mean, look at the handwriting on there. It looks like a Harbor Freight drill bit. So I don't know how well it's going to be. It's a 1/4 inch drill bit. So I mean, if I have to get the ones from work, I have to get the ones from work. So you drill both holes, and you just take this back off, and then you stick the pins in, slam your crank pulley bolt back down on it, and you're done. You don't have to even take your damper off to do this, which is kind of cool. I don't know when the next time we'll be taking the damper off, but it's stepped on the backside because obviously your crank pulley doesn't sit flush with it. So we're gonna do this. I put my radiator back in after I did the crank pulley, and I have no idea why. I just wasn't even thinking. But I gotta rip out the radiator so I can take out the front crank pulley bolt, drill it. I didn't tighten any of this up because I literally put it in and it was like, well, what am I doing? So I have an ARP crank pulley bolt. It's 27mm 12 point. Love this big ass ARP bolt. If you're doing this, you can't reuse the factory bolt. They're I'm pretty sure they're torque to yield bolts. So we'll take this thing and put it in there. You can see it in there with the 2 holes. You got to drill now. Let's see how this Harbor Freight bit's gonna work. That's already gonna be an issue. This dampener's deep as shit. It's not like the stock one. My drill is hitting that side of the snout here. What I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to get another drill bit. I gotta see if I get a longer one. And yeah, so you just drill those 2 holes out. You try to drill those 2 holes out. You take these pins, you take the thing back off the flange, and you just tap these pins into there, which it's also going to be fun to do. I showed you how to do the pinning kit. Showed you that cheap drill bits fucking suck. 99.9% sure that's a Harbor Freight drill bit. 1 time hole, that's it, that thing's done. But I'm going to finish that up, get the crank pulley bolt on, and I got to stick a pry bar up into my torque converter against the floor, because I think that's got to be torqued to something like 236 foot-pounds. It's a lot of torque. It's going to be a prick to do. I'm going to have to jump it on my torque wrench. But that'll be done, and then I can do the belt. Now I can put the belt on, but I still have to make an adjustment. I got to add a small little idler pulley, because the thermostat housing, it will hit with the belt. So I got to put a small idler pulley on that alternator bolt just to kick the belt out a little much. Not big, you know, 1-inch idler pulley. And we'll do that, and that's just another thing off the list done. That much closer. Once I get the steam port kit and my heater hose is finished, we can fire this thing up, we can fill it with coolant, and we can let this fucker run and bleed. But I don't know if I'll be doing that shortly, because, fingers crossed, I think my wife bought my mini tubs for Christmas tomorrow. Today's Christmas Eve. We'll see when I open the box, but I think they're my mini tubs. So if they're my mini tubs, this car's gonna get jacked up on jack stands. We're gonna tear the rear out of it. Don't worry, I'll show you. We're gonna tear the whole rear end out of it, and we're gonna start cutting the tubs out, and we're gonna go over how to do mini tubs. Never done it before. My buddy's done it. He's explained it to me. I've seen a million pictures, read all Team Z's instructions. Anybody who's got basic understanding of cars and fab skills, looks like this will be a time-consuming but easy job to do. It does not look hard at all. It just looks like it's time-consuming and a lot of metal grinding. My favorite thing to do in the world. Yay. So I'm going to edit this video up hopefully next week before the new year, and we'll get it up on the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was a little quick one. Showed you quick with this crank pulley. Like, comment, subscribe. Give me a follow on my Instagram at Racestatus, and everybody have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays, alright?